Hi, I'm Obie from Power Dental Studio. In today's video, I'll walk you through the Nexus workflow step by step so you can confidently navigate the process from start to finish. So we're here to show you how to work with the Nexus iOS scan system. And in this, we're going to show you how to first capture a tissue scan. To do this, from your Nexus scan gauge kit, you're going to want to use the narrow scan bodies. And so we've got a few of them here on table. We'll show you how to install these in the way that we need, so that way we can capture a successful tissue scan with the narrow scan gauges. So when you're using the Nexus scan kit and the narrow scan bodies, you actually only need 3 narrow scan bodies on the ridge. Whether you have 4, 6, 8 implants, you'll only need the 3 narrow scan gauges in order to be able to successfully capture your tissue scan. So I'll continue installing these in a triangular pattern. You want to put one on the left and right most posterior implants. And lastly, you'll want to install one of the narrow scan gauges on one of your anterior implants. And this will help you to triangulate with the narrow scan bodies. In this example, our model has just 4 implants, but this is why we are only using 3 of the narrow scan gauges. After having installed these, you would want to perform a tissue scan with your intraoral scanner. So when you get the Nexus scan gauge kit, it comes with 18 actual scan gauges in the kit, and they come in a range of sizes. They're short, medium, and long. In this case, the reason they give you these different lengths is just dependent on the size of the patient's ridge that you'll be scanning. If your implants are closer together, chances are you're just going to be using the short gauges, as they will be so close together in proximity. If you have more space between the implants, you may need to use the medium to long gauges in order to be able to connect everything together. So as we've demonstrated using the narrow scan bodies, now we'll demonstrate using the scan gauges themselves. And in this option, we're looking to capture the grammetry or the implant positions for the patient. We'll take out each of our scan gauges. Again, since this ridge is so short and the implants are so close together, I'll be aligning these scan gauges as close as I can to each other. We want them close, but not touching. And when we're installing them, and if we think about the posterior of the arch, we don't want the front of a scan gauge facing backwards towards the posterior. We actually want them facing forward towards the anterior. So we'll start to install them, and if we need to adjust them towards the end, we can go ahead and do that. We put one into place, and from there, this will start to dictate where we position our other scan gauges. And as we go, we'll just keep positioning them as needed around the ridge. And before I place that last one in, I may want to go back and just reevaluate the positions of the scan gauges that I have, just to make sure that they're in the best alignment they can be. If I'm questioning whether or not I've used the right size scan gauge, I may have to evaluate and see if I need to change out any of the sizes that I've used. If the distance between my scan gauges is too great, I can always go back and change it from maybe the short to the medium if need be. And in this case, I think I do need to change out one of my short scan gauges in the anterior for a medium scan gauge. And I think that should give proper proximity from one of the gauges to the other, so that way they're close enough that we're going to have a consistent scan. Again, we want them close, but not physically touching. Oh, we can put that one to the side. We've got 3 in position. We'll look to position the last one, and from there, we should have all the proper positioning we want for the gauges. Again, when we're installing these, we don't want the front of the gauge to be facing towards the posterior of the mouth. Oh, and as I look at this, I have one that's actually touching on one of the others, so I'm going to have to slightly reposition it in order to make them so that they're close, but not physically contacting. So as we do this, this shows us an orientation where all of our gauges are close together, yet not actually contacting. And this is the type of orientation we would want to see when installing the Nexus gauges. Now we can proceed to our intraoral scan of the gauges. We'll be taking one scan from left to right. And as we perform that first scan, we don't want to go from the left side to the right side and then start moving back from the right side back to the left. This is where you're going to want to take your time with your intraoral scanner. And as you're scanning the scan gauges, you may have to teeter the scan tip as you're going from left side to right side. And you're going to be teetering the scan tip on each scan gauge, so that way you fully capture it, but you need to do that scan in one consistent movement from the left to the right. You'll then stop that scan, start a secondary scan, and now your secondary scan would be from the right to the left. Again, as you go from the right side to the left side, you don't want to go from the right to the left all the way and then try to backtrack from the left side going back to the right side. You need to slowly move your scan tip as you're scanning and teeter your scan tip over the scan gauges to fully capture them on your first pass. This is critical in ensuring that you'll have an accurate scan for the Nexus scan gauge. Once you're done with both these scans, you can post-process them, and from there, you can upload these scans to us so that we can run these scans through the Nexus analyzer, and it will confirm for us the Nexus scan gauge positions. And once those are verified, then we know we have successful implant position capture.